Karen.
Yes.
Is it just me?
Yes.
I know you can say that. I knew it. Now, is it just me, or do you feel like stress has become our baseline operating system?
Oh my God, yes. Absolutely yes.
Well, we are about to learn the one tool that could shut our brain up faster than our phone hitting 1% battery.
And is it a tool I can use at night, every night before I go to bed?
That's a question we will ask our guest, because he is a former corporate executive, a former CPA, a man who went from crunching numbers to crunching open human consciousness.
Oh.
In fact, that sound you're hearing, it's not relaxation fluff. It's frequency-based neurobiology. And if you think that sounds dramatic, good, because it should. Because in this episode, you're going to learn why certain sounds instantly lower anxiety, how crystal bowls can reset your emotional circuitry, how to choose a bowl that matches your actual energy signature, and why your body responds to vibration even when your mind says BS.
So I can't just choose one because it's pretty?
I mean, you could, but it may not work as well for you. I'm not saying sound healing works miracles, but apparently one bowl can calm anxiety, reset your energy, and maybe even help you stop doom scrolling at 2 a.m. Karen.
I feel like you've been you this whole thing. I'm feeling a little attacked.
And yes, he's performing a live sound healing on the show today. So if your nervous system has been behaving like a caffeinated squirrel, consider this your intervention. So if your brain feels like 47 open browser tabs fighting for dominance, then welcome to the Skeptic Metaphysicians, where today your chakras might tune themselves out of sheer relief.
My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything.
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians.
Hey there, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
Welcome back to the Skeptic Metaphysicians, the show where we ditch the fluff, we question everything, and we dive straight into the tools that actually shift your consciousness, not just your Pinterest board. Today's guest is someone who didn't just stumble into sound healing, he surrendered to it. See what I did there?
I see what you did
He
there.
followed a pull that most of us ignore, that quiet instinct that says there's something more than this. And what he found wasn't just a practice, it was a frequency that changes people. Not metaphorically, physically, emotionally, immediately. Immediately. He helps people reconnect to the part of themselves that's been drowned out by the noise. And today he is bringing those vibrations to us. Please welcome the owner of Sacred Sound of the Soul, Ryan Stanley. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking. How about you both?
Well, we're a little bit under the weather, so we're hoping that your sound healing is going to just miraculously clear everything up for us.
Well, God, I need you. I'm sitting here listening to him and realizing I'm just clenching my teeth, and that's like my permanent state these days. I just clench teeth, and it gives me a headache.
Yeah.
So,
well, then that's a perfect segue into the conversation. Ryan, sound healing, how is it that it works so beautifully, so perfectly for so many people?
and so instantly.
Gosh, there's so many different perspectives and theories on that now that we could go into. I mean, even just the miracle of the inner ear and the way the eardrum works with its, moving back and forth with air compression, and then the little tiny bones that convert that into electrical signals through the nerves and neural pathways, and then the way the brain interprets that. I mean, even just that is a miracle. It's just an absolute miracle. But I was listening to a couple of your other guests that have talked about sound. I think it was Anthony Profeta.
Sure.
Was one of the guests from the past, and he talked about this thought around that everything is energy, and the sound moving through is energy, and you're just connecting energy with energy, and there's like an entrainment of all that energy happening.
Right.
There's so many things that we could talk about from the perspective of the subtle body and the energy that may be part of our sort of metaphysical fields and the way that interacts. And there's the simple things of just the way that sound impacts your skin, the way that the vagus nerve comes to the surface on the outer ear. which is absolutely fascinating to me. The only place at the vagus nerve, which you probably have heard about vagal toning and the stress reduction that can come from that alone, the only place that nerve comes to the outer surface of the body is the outer ear. Not the inner ear, but the outer ear and part of the ear canal. And that's just fascinating to me, that that's where that such a receptive nerve comes to the surface.
Wow.
Yeah, I could go on and on. Is there any of that that's more curious to you that you'd like to explore?
Yes, all of it. But so the way I've heard it spoken or explained is sound. It makes perfect sense to me. Sound is just a vibration, right? Different bowls have different vibrational frequencies that interact with different vibrational frequencies within ourselves. And that's how sound healings kind of come to pass. Is that fair?
It's fair. It's one possibility. Another possibility is it's just noise that holds space, that allows you to be still. And that stillness allows you to have a somatic experience, listening to your inner body, witnessing the miracle of nature of your inner body. And because the sound held the space for that, then you get to have another experience. There's many different theories on how it works. And I guess I really love the fact that when I saw the name of your podcast, Skeptic Metaphysicians, I thought this is the perfect place for me, because I think that it means so much to me to be a skeptic, to know that truth may be something that you don't completely understand, and to have that humble nature about seeking truth. That's where I'm at with sound healing, is that I'm really curious to explore all the possibilities, but I don't know for sure what's actually creating the success within sound healing. All I know is that I'm witnessing it happening over and over again.
I have a question that I don't know if you'll be able to answer or not.
Of course he's going to be able to answer.
I mean, it's just kind of,
maybe
it's not out of the blue, but it's kind of out of the blue. So, everyone that I know has some level of tinnitus. Is that something that, I don't know, will interact with the vibrations that you're producing with these sound bowls and negate them, or can it fix that? Do you have any idea with that?
I've only run into it a couple times, and so it's not like a mass research study that I can tell you exactly how it works, but in my personal experience, gentle sound healing has not aggravated the tinnitus for people. And it's even sometimes helped a little bit. But it's got to be gentle and subtle. And there are different types of sound baths you can go to, and sometimes they can be really vigorous and awakening, and sometimes people will be playing the instruments really loud to try to reach you, to try to wake you up, to try to make sure that you're receiving the sound healing. But for tinnitus, the couple cases that I've run into, the subtlety is really important.
That's good to know.
I've even heard it, it's gone so far to sometimes some people, the frequencies may not align perfectly, so that it's made someone nauseous or something along those lines. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, especially traumatic experiences can come back up. It depends what instruments and how forceful it's being played, and the frequency, like you said. Sometimes, like in my personal experience, like for instance, a gong is a very aggressive instrument. It can be really fun to be around, really awakening. But for other people, it can bring up a little trauma and some things, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing. Having an uncomfortable experience during a sound healing might be progress.
Yeah, it's interesting how much sound can affect you, because I don't know if you remember when we were first dating, you had that little 2-seater hot rod convertible car, and he would blast the music and the bass, you could feel it in the seat.
Like it was yesterday.
It would make me nauseous.
That's true.
Remember that?
Yeah,
and
I do remember that.
You have to stop. I'm going to throw up. That was weird.
And Will, did it make you feel good?
It did. I loved it. In fact, the more bass, the better is for me. So why is
Same
that?
here.
How is that so different for her and I?
I wish I had the answer to that. That is totally out of my scope of practice. But all I know is that everybody receives it differently. Yeah. And I think this is getting back to what you said originally, which is there are some frequencies that may align with some people more so than others. Some people are more sensitive. Other people need more amplitude in order to be able to receive it. And so it's not just about the frequency. It might be about the volume. It might be about the way it's being received. Right. It might be about the tone. It might be about the harmony. It might be about dissonance versus sort of major chords being played together. It might be about the minor tones and some of the musical theory. There are so many dimensions of this, and sorry, I'm being resistant to the, giving a straight answer, but yeah, there's just so many perspectives on it.
No worries. We're going to keep asking the question until you finally break down the answer.
You got it.
Well, some questions there are many, many answers.
Oh, no
too,
question.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do you think is happening inside of our bodies that elicit responses? Like when vagus nerve stimulation, like you mentioned, for example, how does a sound release that tension?
It's a good question. I think one of the interesting studies that I've seen is around how white noise by itself makes a difference for people in pain management and some relief. And we think about white noise and the time in the womb potentially, and this comfort factor that might be coming from kind of reliving that type of experience. White noise of like the ocean or a river running seems to be calming to us. We know with babies, vacuum cleaners, all sorts of white noise seem to be calming. So there could be a psychological implication. It could be something psychologically that's happening with certain sound. And then we're just drawing the correlation from white noise to that psychological implication to other types of sound healing, like the bowls, and some sort of psychological implication. But I think even the sound healing in the ear and on the skin, like I talked about this nerve receptivity, I think that even makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference for me when I can feel the vibration from playing myself, because I feel the vibration coming back into my body through the wand. And I recommend everybody experience that, because it is different when you have that ability to receive not only the sound coming through your ears, but you're receiving it on all dimensions. Maybe it's energetic, maybe it's physical, maybe it's 3D, maybe it's 4D, who knows? But yeah, I think there's many different reasons. The vagus nerve itself could be stimulated slightly through this outer ear, but it also, just the process of getting still may help this whole central nervous system calm down. And stillness is what comes to people oftentimes when they first hear a frequency, like a Tibetan bowl or a crystal bowl. And that's been one of the most beautiful experiences about owning the yoga studio as well that I own, which is being able to see thousands of people come into classes and they struggle to be still. They're shifting around constantly. And as soon as a bowl is played, that struggle seems to go away. And it's one of the reasons why I fell in love with sound healing, was witnessing that over and over again. I thought, well, there's so many modalities to relaxation and getting out of this stress response into a restorative biology. But sound healing seems to be the one that I've come across that seems to be the easiest, the least invasive, and kind of the fastest modality, the least effort that I've seen.
Wow.
Well, I want to talk about the stress, but before we do that, you mentioned skin. And I started to get excited because, I'm not the springiest of chickens, but I still got I haven't sprung yet. So is this something that, when you're talking about it affecting your skin, can it help your skin, or is it just that you feel it on your skin? I don't know how excited I should get.
I haven't come across any cases yet where people have reported that it's really helped their skin, but I wouldn't say it's not possible, because I've seen magic in so many other ways. And part of this too may just be a manifestation of magic as well. So, but I meant more the feeling through the skin.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
But that's why they call it a sound bath, Karen. You have to get into the bath repeatedly, and eventually maybe your skin will come out of the bath feeling younger. I'm just pulling at straws
and
here.
if everything else is working better, ultimately it's going to reflect on your skin.
Absolutely.
So you cure the inside, you cure the out. So I'm going with it. It's just good for your skin.
You go for it, baby.
I'm not a medical doctor, but in my opinion.
Yeah, if it's helping you drop into your restorative biology, which you talked about. We started this talking about the amount of stress that we all live in, and we're in acute stress most of the time. We are not really, I shouldn't say acute stress, but it feels like that, because when your iPhone rings, a lot of times that you think about the 30 things that you haven't done, and you think about, and suddenly that stress gets into that same zone as even beyond just gentle stress into almost acute stress. Yeah. And getting into rest and then deep rest is what actually is going to allow your skin to heal.
Right, yeah.
So if you're in deep rest more often because of a sound healing, there you go.
There you go.
Or ever.
Or,
We're never. We don't sleep ever.
We're going to get you relaxed today.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Ryan, we talk on the show, we talk a lot about spiritual awakenings and shifting into 5Ds and ascensions and all that kinds of woo stuff. And when it comes to sound healing, we've heard a lot of people talk about how sometimes sounds transcend them into other states of consciousness and all that kinds of stuff. For me, when I wake up in the morning, if I listen to some of my favorite songs, favorite music, it really sets the day for me, right? And yet, if my daughter starts playing some of her music, it's not a good day, right? It goes contrary to all that kind of stuff.
K-pop in the morning.
Just a really loud, rappy stuff that really makes it difficult. So, obviously, this is something having to do with different frequencies that align with us. And each one of those bowls that, if you're only listening to the show, you're not seeing Ryan sitting on a mat in front of a whole array of different crystal bowls.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it really is gorgeous. And a whole lot more behind you in different colors and all kinds of things. Is it just the shape and the size of the bowl that rearranges the frequency? And which one of those, if that's the case, is like, how should someone know which bowl to use if they want to awaken spiritually, for example?
Okay, a few questions.
Yes, lots of questions.
One was around how does the frequency actually emerge from the bowl based on the shape and size. And so there's a few rules of thumb. Generally, wider bowls are going to be deeper, generally, in the frequency. Generally, taller bowls will also be somewhat deeper in the frequency. So the combination of the width and the height will sometimes make the frequency change quite a bit. So this small bowl, which I'm holding here, which you may not be able to see, but is about 6 inches wide, and it makes a 5th octave C sharp.
Right. And you're holding a crystal, like see-through bowl that it almost looks like a mixing bowl.
Yeah, that's in fact when people come into the store and don't know what they are, they sometimes say, "What are these things? Are these for cooking? Are these for?"
How much? Do you have any bigger mixing bowls than this one? Because
yeah. So and now I'm holding the largest one of the set that I've got, which happens to be a 12-inch one here, and it's both tall and wide, and it has the same frequency but 2 octaves lower as the 6-inch bowl that I was holding. So it's quite a bit deeper. From a mathematical perspective, it's, I believe, 1/3 of the hertz that the upper bowl would be.
Oh, wow.
So the width and height makes a big difference, but the other thing that makes a big difference is the thickness of the bowl, of the thickness of the wall of the bowl. And so where you have a very thick wall, it will make a higher frequency, and where you have a very thin wall, it will make a lower frequency.
Gotcha.
So all those things combined to determine the frequency, as well as the material it's made out of and many other things. But generally, if you're kind of searching for a deep frequency, the bigger the bowl, the deeper the frequency.
Gotcha. And so these are all crystal bowls that we're talking about. I happen to have a metal bowl, right, that was made in China, I think it is. Is that the same principle that that the crystal bowls display, like the thinness, the size, the depth, that changes the frequency as well? Or is that a little bit more?
Generally the same. Generally the same principle with the metal bowls as well. That the larger you get, the wider and taller you go with a metal bowl, and the thinner it is in its wall thickness, then the lower its tone generally is.
Okay. And Karen just
I was
happened
looking around. I'm like, where is it?
to have pulled it out, and
So
here
cool.
is my. It's actually a sacral bowl, is what I'm being told, right? Because it hits the sacral chakra, which is great sometimes, and sometimes I just don't feel like in the mood for that one, right? So.
Could you? Now I'm thinking of like the wine glasses. Could you put water in a crystal bowl and change the sound? Or would that is
Yes.
that like
Yeah.
frowned upon?
Yeah, it definitely changes the the tone of the bowl to put a little bit of water in there. It changes the volume and space and everything else. So some people do that to kind of fine tune their crystal bowls to a certain tone.
It's like some of those performances I've seen with a guy with like a whole bunch of like wine glasses with different sizes, and they just and they do a whole
We're
thing.
playing Van Morrison.
Yes. Probably not as apt to do that with a crystal bowl as I would be for that, but
No, but if you can't, if you don't have access to more than one and you need to hear a different tone, maybe you can add, a little bit of water to it, change it up that way.
That's a good point. And I've been evasive about this question of frequency relating to sort of different people or different parts of your body and those type of things. One thing I found in sound healing that I think it's kind of a myth buster type of bit of wisdom that can be passed on, is that we think in terms of one instrument, one sound, but typically there's actually an infinite amount of different tones coming out of every single instrument. And you can see this on a frequency spectrometer. If you actually look at a graph of the sound of a bowl, you're going to see a shape that peaks in one place and then it slowly degrades to the other side. It might be like a convex shape on both sides of this peak. And underneath the area of the curve is sound, in infinite different sound in both directions. And so one thing that's interesting is that from my experience, people hear the bowl where you tell them to listen. And so regardless, if I tell you this is going to reach your sacral chakra, you're going to envision, okay, my sacral chakra is here in my body. This is about where it is. And then you're going to be more sensitive and receptive in that area because I've told you that that's a place to listen. And so my belief is that each instrument actually has the possibility to reach just about any area of your body that you want to. And I think if we actually did research and testing, that's what we would find, is that wherever people were listening is where so that's a great thing that intentions can manifest in that way based on what you're really trying to work on.
Right. Well, and
a lot of flexibility for the application.
I really respect where you're coming from because you're really looking at this from a very pragmatic way, and that's right up the show's alley. So thank you for that, first of all. But inevitably, we have people that are very firmly in the woo. So in that sense, let's go back to that question about awakenings. Is there a particular bowl that you would recommend if someone wanted to just stay in their room all day long and play it because they want to ascend to the 5D, that they should maybe...
And where can you buy it? You're asking for a friend?
I'm just curious myself, but...
Yeah, my personal experience where I had my biggest, and I've kind of tracked 4 or 5 big kind of awakening, awe-inspiring moments in my life. And one of them came from these bowls. I used to think that they were really silly, pretty instruments and that people only liked them because of the way they looked. And I really rejected them in many ways. They were not masculine enough for me. I thought, sound healing's about mastery of like classical Indian music or really going 30 years into something, and they were just too easy to play and too accessible, and I just completely rejected them. But I did have an experience where I played one where I kind of just really fell into playing it for 3 or 4 hours. Oh, wow. And the next morning I woke up with the biggest samadhi that I've had in my life.
Wow.
And it was something the bowls were very present in my psychology throughout the night, and waking up early in the morning, probably 3 a.m. That's all I could think about was wanting to play and be around the bowls again. And that came from playing one of the bowls that's called the Supergrade Bowl. It's got the most refined matrix of crystal available, and it's a 16-inch. They come in 16-inch, and they come in all different sizes actually, but most commonly in 16-inch and 18-inch sizes. And it makes a very deep tone, and the visceral vibration that you feel from it as you're playing it, you feel it all over your skin, all over your body. Your hair stands up as you're playing it because it reaches anyone even as numb as I was at the time. And so if you really want the the quick hit, that's the instrument that I'd recommend, is get one and play it for yourself. But that's also not easily accessible. It's a very expensive bowl, and you also don't need to have that experience.
Right.
There's so many other ways that you can approach having meaning in life, and but it was fun for me.
So if you do manage to get the bowl, or even any other bowl, you said, get the bowl and play it. Do you have to, how is it easy to just play, or do you need lessons or instruction?
It's one of the most accessible things. That's one of the things that's beautiful about it, is having people come into the gallery or even online or other places where I get to teach them how to play the bowls. It's usually a 2 or 3 minute process to teach them how to play the bowls. And after that, they're so grateful for the fact that they were able to access beautiful tones like that. And so it's an awe-inspiring moment for them, and a moment of gratitude where they're like, I didn't think this was accessible. Mm-hmm. And suddenly they have a relationship with sound, and I think a lot of people have given up a relationship with sound in their lives. How many people do we know that used to play the piano when they were younger, used to have an instrument or something, and they've walked away from it, they don't do it anymore, and suddenly sound, and beautiful sound, is accessible to them. And it's half the time that people, that is a tear-jerking moment for a lot of people.
Right. So, is there a recommended amount of time or a way to use it? Or like this sacral chakra bowl that I have, for example, I play it on occasion. I make it sound for a while, and then I'm like, okay, that's it, and I walk away from it. It's maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. To get the full benefit of something like this, you mentioned doing it for an hour or two. Is that something that you recommend, or 10 minutes? I know you're going to say it's up to the individual person, but what is the least amount that you should try to do to get the benefits of the sound?
So it's effective in a lot of different ways. There's many stories of people that I hear that buy the bowls, that use them in ways that are very short amounts of time for their application. So an example is a person that trades on the market all day long, and they get so chaotic and so frenetic about the experience of chasing so many different things that it's hard for them to get inner knowing and clarity back. And so using the bowls for 3 or 4 minutes to just in between that activity to get that to reconnect somatically with the body, to get inner knowing back, it may be a long enough time. In other cases, people may want to enhance a meditation that they're having, and they may go on for an hour with it because they're thinking about something that's really meaningful and important to them as they're playing, and it's making it more effective. For me, 15 minutes is usually my limit of how long I like to play. When I'm playing for others, I like to play longer, but for myself, I prefer that short spurt of maybe 5 to 15 minutes.
Now, when you say play, you've got a whole orchestra in front of you. If we only got one bowl, does it make? I mean, is it the same, or do you need to have a?
I'm sorry, that just is funny. We just got one bowl.
No, it makes a lot of sense because a lot of times there's this feeling of, am I really holding this space with just one bowl?
Yeah. Exactly.
Isn't this going to get? And isn't it going to get boring?
Which is why I stop after a minute. I'm like, okay, that's enough of that. If I had another bowl, at least I can go for another minute.
And then back. Maybe.
Well, I think it's if it's 1 minute that satiates you with the one bowl, then it's what you need. And I do think I'm more likely when I only have one bowl and I'm at home and I'm trying to kind of reconnect with some clarity or get a burst of inspiration or something, then that one bowl for 5 minutes is definitely enough. But there's so many different ways to play just one bowl. So one thing, especially about the crystal bowls, is there's a relationship where they play with such ease that there's an interesting dance that you're doing while you're playing the bowl of receptivity and then kind of strength that's going back and forth. And a lot of the times when I'm playing the bowl, just one bowl for an extended period of time, what I'm thinking about is how little energy I have to put into it and how much I'm getting back.
Sure.
And I'm doing that dance and I'm letting the sound subside, and then I'm putting more energy into it. And with Tibetan metal bowl, a lot of times it has to be a lot more forced. So fine alchemy crystal bowls are a little bit different relationship, where there's a lot more subtlety. There's a pulse, there's an oscillation, you're letting it subside, you're bringing it back. And so that dance with even one bowl can kind of fill a lot of space and time without a lot of effort.
Gotcha.
So you have about 6 bowls, it looks like, around you. Do
7.
you? Oh, see, I don't have my glasses.
You missed
on.
the mixing bowl that's behind the other
Oh,
one.
that's right, the small, yeah. 7 bowls.
Right.
Do you have, like, is it kind of like at all like notes on a scale where like each bowl represents a certain one, and so you should have one of each? Or is every single bowl totally different?
Yeah, every bowl is totally, especially in this alchemy crystal bowl world, every bowl is so unique and so different. Literally, they're all one of a kind. There's not a single one made like another one.
Wow.
They're literally born, every single one of them are born whatever note and tone they show up. They don't grind them. They don't do anything to make them any certain pitch. So the reason why we carry so many, we have about 500 to 600 usually, is because they are so different, and to combine them with any harmony, you have to look for combinations that actually sound good together.
Wow.
So there is an intention behind it, like in this set, typically, but the intention can arise from so many different dimensions of thought. So if you're trying to please someone from a musical perspective, you would have the intention of making equal temperament bowls that are basically the same pitch, so you don't have some that are sharper, some that are flatter. And you would also go for notes that are typical harmonic chords, like major triads. Like a CEG is the most common major triad out there. It's the one we would recognize the most. And so, like in this set, I'm doing that with a major triad, but I'm going from a C sharp, E, A, C sharp, E, A, and then C sharp again. And I'm encompassing 3 octaves of C sharps with those major triad notes in the middle of there. So I've got chords and octaves, and I can invert the chords and everything. But the key is that I can play all of them at once, and nothing will sound wrong. It's like having a keyboard that you can never hit the wrong key. And so assembling a set of bowls like that really allows you to have this freedom of just intuition, of going wherever you want to go without having to really think or have years and years of experience of music reading and understanding of what's going to sound good together.
Never hit the wrong note. That sounds like exactly my type of instrument.
I was gonna say, me too, because up until now I've only played the radio.
All right. Well, you graciously offered to do a sound bath for us live on the show. Typically, like, how long do you think you would do this for, so we're prepared?
I think probably around 15 minutes will be a good amount.
Okay.
For this experience. It could go 10, it could go 20, but whatever you'd like. We can, and it could, sometimes we do online sound healings that are an hour and 15 minutes. And when you've got headphones and you can just lay down in your bed or do whatever you want to, then it really can be a restorative experience.
Okay, so if people are listening to this in the car as they're driving, is this going to just relax them so much that they shouldn't be listening to it while they're driving? Or is it fine?
It seems like to have an abundance of caution might be best, just to be sure. Yeah, especially if you're already in a state where you're close to being, able to relax quickly, and you never know.
And you'll get a better benefit if you are actually in a place where you can just, like you said, put your headphones on, lie down, and just take in the sound.
I just didn't know if we need to tell our driving listeners to hit that pause button until you get home and you're in a place where you can relax and just listen to it and enjoy it.
Consider it said. So there you go. Thank you for that caution. Okay, Ryan, well then what should we be doing? Should we have our eyes closed? Should we just be watching you? Is this like a performance thing? Or are we just going to let the sound wash over us? How do you recommend we experience this?
I would say find the most relaxing space that you can. Like I said, with the sound quality will be the best with the headphones. And maybe start with the full range of the breath, all the way in and all the way out, until you forget to do that. And whenever you forget to do that, you can just return to the natural rhythm of your breath. But long, slow breathing is going to interact with the central nervous system. It's going to drop you from that stress down into rest. And then if you can do that through the nose, even better. If you're a little congested, through the mouth is fine. And then body scanning is also a great thing to do. If you don't want to make this too cerebral, but if you notice any points of the body that are holding tension, and you can further relax those points of the body just by thinking about, oh, my feet really relaxed? Oh, I could relax them more. And just letting gravity take hold and continuing just to continually rest deeper and deeper. That would be great.
All right. Well then, without further ado, the floor, Ryan,
Should we move these?
Is yours.
So we don't sound creepy breathing into it?
My breath does not sound creepy, thank you very much, but okay, I'll move my microphone. I almost don't want to talk.
I know.
Wow.
I know. Holy cow.
Ryan, that took me places. I didn't do the full meditation stuff, and it still
It just drops you in.
took me places. Yeah, I just washed over. I felt it. I heard it in my ear, but I felt it everywhere. Like, I felt it everywhere. That was amazing.
Yeah.
How you feeling? Feeling relaxed?
I'm feeling really relaxed. Like the top of my head was burning.
Burning.
Yeah, it was weird.
Well, I tried to put it out before. But
And I got all tingly. And the weird thing, like I could feel my sinuses. Like I'm not stuffy, but they just totally like opened.
yeah, I haven't sniffed once.
Wow. That was amazing.
It was amazing.
Just
Thank
felt
you, Ryan.
So good. Thank you. Wow.
I think one of the questions that you had before is, does online sound healing actually work?
That would be a yes.
Yeah, apparently sound waves come through just fine. You don't have to be in person, which is really interesting to me because I have always thought that, sound waves are sound waves. It is a matter of science. There's a physics states that sounds are waves and they'll move on into space forever and just like light, but I guess electronic means allows the sound waves to travel through them. That's
Like the radio?
yes, but the radio doesn't make you feel.
Yeah, I know.
This made you feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, we don't, if they play this exclusively over the radio, it might.
You know what? I think they should.
They should.
Maybe we should open a radio station that's just this stuff.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Except for nobody would do anything. We'd just be home listening to this.
Well, you're doing it in such a good way. I mean, even, listening with the full headphones over your ears, we talked about the vagus nerve coming to the outer ear. You're giving that whole area a chance to feel that vibration, not just hear it.
Yeah, that was.
And if we did it in your classic car with was it a classic car? Well, I just know it had deep bass. If we did it there, we'd really be feeling it.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing.
But you know what? I'm thinking it's probably good to not drive while you're listening to this
No,
because
definitely
I'm
not.
like pretty sure I left my body.
Oh,
'Cause I was
wow.
outside and I was watching a red car drive away. I'm like, well,
Okay.
probably wouldn't be good if I was driving
No.
at that moment.
No, so I'm glad that you gave the caution, the warning.
Yeah. Wow, that was amazing. It just was beautiful.
It was
It's
gorgeous.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And I loved how you ended it. You were doing the woo 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 woos all the whole time, and it wasn't until the very end when you ding ding, and it just closed out so perfectly. And at that point in time, I had opened my eyes. I was watching what you were doing because I really wanted to see it. The subtlest of touches is what elicited that ding sound. Like you were just barely touching the bowl, and that the amount of sound that comes out of these is remarkable.
Yeah, this manufacturer is just extraordinary. Like you said, it's like the finest wine glass. When you know the difference between getting kind of a glass that's kind of thick and dull versus a really thin rimmed, beautiful wine glass, and how that feels when you rub your finger around it. You can find the same difference in crystal bowls. That you can find ones that are just exquisite, and you can find ones that are take a little more work.
And I just love how every different tone, like at least for me, it affected me differently. And I felt it in a different place, and it like elicited a different response. It was just really so cool.
I think it was the purple one that you have there. That's the second biggest one. When you first played that, like I almost reached over and turned my headphone volume down because it was so overwhelming.
It was loud, yeah.
But then after a while, it just took me right in.
Did you have your eyes open the whole time?
No.
Okay, I was just like, shut them. And then at the
I
end,
shut him
chimes,
and I opened them towards the
wake-up
end so I
chimes.
could watch him because I also wanted to watch him perform it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Cool.
it's interesting because I see that those crystal bowls are just sitting on that carpet on the floor. My Tibetan bowl, if I don't put it on something, it gives me nothing. So that there's that big of a difference, I'm assuming, between this metal bowl and the crystals where you can just play it off of anything.
There is a huge difference, but it's not all. There is one more trick that I've got. But you noticed when I was going around the bowls that even just a maybe a halfway around the bowl was all I needed. Not even a full circle around the bowl because it's so reactive. Right. Where a Tibetan bowl, a lot of times it's almost you versus the bowl. Like,
yes.
It's like, I'm not going to play, and you're like, I will you to play.
Yes, yes. You've seen me try to do it then.
Furiously getting more stressed. It's having the opposite effect.
Right. But one more trick is this little tiny silicone ring that sits between the bowl and the floor.
Okay.
So
so it raises it up a little bit.
Right, it makes sense because I think the floor would probably deaden
muffle it.
the vibrations somewhat. So if someone wants to bring sound healing into their daily life, what's the simplest place for them to start?
Finding a bowl mate is what I'd recommend. And so that's the process of letting go of all those things like you, Karen, you said, I think you were discounting the fact that you thought they were pretty. And who knows what that means, because I used to discount that too. But what I find is that people choose their bowls even from outside the store by looking. Oh. And after they play even 100 of them, they never go past that one that they first saw. So I think there's something more about that connection that we're making through visually. It might even be that we can sense something way beyond
like some sort of
the visual aspect of it.
Draw or something.
Yeah.
Maybe we can sense it's an important part of our future. Right. I don't know. And that shift comes by letting go of all that and choosing an instrument that you just lights you up. It just feels like in your heart like a crush on someone. And then you know, okay, this is the bowl. And that's why we call it the bowl mate. Yeah. So start with one of those. We can help anybody who wants to expand that from a bowl mate to multiple bowls, which we usually call friends or a family of bowls.
Friends.
And and we just help make sure they're in harmony and they sound really beautiful when they're played together.
Now, do you recommend someone actually go in somewhere and play the bowl before they choose it? Or is this something that someone can buy something online? And if so, how does someone do that?
If you have accessibility to go play, then there's nothing better. But most people that we work with now don't have the accessibility to come into the store. They just, so 75% of the people we work with are in other countries or in other locations. And the way we work with them is we've got recordings of every single one of the bowls. And they can even play multiple recordings at once to see how they sound together. And so that gives them a pretty good idea of how the bowls sound and how they will sound when they play them themselves.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. Wow. So obviously you're in the Encinitas, California area. So if someone's in that area, definitely go to the store. What is the name of it? It's Sound of the Soul?
Sacred Sound of the Soul.
Thank you. Sacred Sound of the Soul.
Sacred Sound of the Soul.
Yeah. So definitely go check them out. But if you are not in the California area, and if someone wants to reach out to talk to you about purchasing or acquiring their buddy bowl or their family of bowls. Bowl mate, their bowl mate or their, I love that, bowl mate, soulmate,
that's
bowl
way
mate.
better than buddy bowl.
Way better. I don't know. I'm just a dude. Is someone?
I love it.
How can someone be in touch with you?
SacredSoundOfTheSoul.com is the easiest way to see all the bowls, and then you can also email us at info@SacredSoundOfTheSoul.com. But all that information's on the website. Once you find the website, it'll lead you to everything. We do consultations online. We do consultations in person. It's all by appointment because, like you said, with the salad bowl or the
the mixer.
If you don't know about this, then you're going to just think of it as a mixing bowl. Right. So we just wait to work with people who are really excited about it. But if you're excited about it, then we'll help you get to the right place.
Awesome.
How far is it Encinitas? How far is that from Culver City?
I think it's a couple hours with no traffic. Okay. 2 to 3 hours with no traffic.
She's asking for selfish reasons. She has a nephew out there.
But he's all about sound.
He is all about sound.
He's a musician.
Yeah.
He's into that too, so you might want to go check it out.
That's true.
Love to meet him.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to add that link in our show notes. So if you didn't have a pen at that particular point in time, all you need to do is go to skepticmetaphysician.com and you will see in his episode the link directly laid into the show notes, so it's easy for you to reach out. Ryan, this has been fantastic. Thank you for your patience while we shuffled the times about 117 times.
Muddled through the last couple months.
All good.
We really appreciate your introducing us to these things because I am hooked.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. It is. It's instant. Holy cow.
I am hooked.
Yeah.
So I might need to go find my soul bowl mate.
Bowl mate.
My bowl mate.
Your soul bowl.
I love Will's ideas for the names for these. From now on, if a really masculine guy comes in, I'm gonna say you need a buddy bowl instead of a bowl mate.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Or a significant bowl.
A significant bowler. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your expertise with us.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, well, that does it for this episode of the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Thanks for coming along on this journey beyond the veil. If you're enjoying the ride, don't forget to visit us at skepticmetaphysician.com to dive even deeper into the world of metaphysics and spiritual awakenings. Follow us also on your favorite social media platforms. We're always sharing mind-expanding content and behind-the-scenes fun. And if you're craving connection with like-minded seekers, join our community. The link is on the show notes. And hey, if you're feeling the vibes, help others find us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It makes a huge difference, and we would be so grateful. Until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking, but most of all, keep your mind open.